Most people view Sigma males through a narrow lens, often reducing them to emotionless, solitary figures who operate strictly on logic, ambition, and silence. Their cool exterior and calm detachment give the impression that they're more machine than man, like human calculators focused only on outcomes, efficiency, and control. But this popular perception is a gross oversimplification. Behind a massive aloofness and emotional restraint lies a far more nuanced and profound inner world. Contrary to surface impressions, Sigma males are not devoid of emotion. They are masters of containment. Their stillness is not emptiness, but a shield. They feel deeply, often more deeply than they're willing to show, but they've learned to guard those emotions with precision. This isn't a fear of vulnerability. It's an intentional choice born from experience. They know the cost of exposing raw emotion to a world that rarely understands or appreciates its depth. So instead of wearing their hearts on their sleeves, they tuck them away in the inner recesses of their minds, allowing only a trusted few to catch glimpses of what lies beneath. At the core of the Sigma male is a longing, not for praise, attention, or social dominance, but for experiences that resonate with authenticity and meaning. While the world is often chasing dopamine highs, popularity, and temporary validation, the Sigma is seeking something else entirely, a moment of genuine connection, an idea that sparks intellectual fire, or a feeling so rare and real that it bypasses the mind and goes straight to the soul. They want things that make sense, yes, but more importantly, they crave moments that feel right, even if they defy logic. Yet here's the paradox. These emotional cravings are so deeply internalized, so methodically buried beneath layers of discipline and independence, that even Sigma males themselves might not realize they're there until something unexpected cracks the surface. A piece of music, a quiet night under the stars, a powerful conversation. These triggers bypass the rational gatekeepers and awaken a feeling the Sigma didn't know they needed. This complexity often leaves others puzzled. The Sigma's behaviors, what they desire, what they avoid, what moves them, can seem contradictory or confusing to outsiders. That's because these hidden cravings stem from psychological dimensions few people even think to explore. Most people live outwardly, chasing obvious things. Sigmas live inwardly, in a world of unspoken needs and silent truths. To truly understand the Sigma male, one must go beyond the surface and look into what they won't say out loud, even to themselves. It's in this silence that their truth lives. And now, we're going to explore that hidden truth. Here are 7 unspoken emotional needs and psychological truths Sigma males carry quietly within, realities that shape their actions, relationships, and worldviews, even when no one else notices. 1. Mental stimulation that feeds their insatiable curiosity. For the Sigma male, mental stimulation is not just a preference, it's a lifeline. His mind is wired to crave understanding, pattern recognition, deep questioning, and novel insights. Surface-level conversations feel like static noise, disconnected fragments of recycled opinions, and emotional outbursts masquerading as meaningful dialogue. Most people confuse passion with depth, mistaking the loud repetition of popular ideas for original thought. But the Sigma male can see through this instantly. He recognizes when someone is simply echoing what they've heard on social media, in podcasts, or from influencers, without critically thinking it through for themselves. To him, that kind of interaction is not only unfulfilling, it's frustrating. It's like being offered candy when he's starving for a full, nourishing meal. The flash of enthusiasm might catch his attention for a moment, but it fades quickly, leaving him emptier than before. What he truly longs for are conversations that ignite his brain, ideas so rich and unexpected that they challenge his assumptions and force him to rewire parts of his understanding. It's not about showing off intellect or proving himself right. It's about the thrill of discovery. He thrives on peeling back the layers of truth most people never even think to question. But that hunger often goes unfulfilled. When the Sigma male dares to explore complex topics or introduce abstract perspectives into casual conversation, the reaction he gets is rarely welcoming. More often, he's met with blank stares, discomfort, or even hostility. Society, on the whole, tends to prefer simplicity, easy-to-digest answers, black and white logic, and conversations that don't rock the boat. In such environments, the Sigma male's depth is seen not as refreshing, but as inconvenient. Over time, He learns to suppress this side of himself in social settings. He offers polite smiles, generic answers, and small talk that barely scratches the surface, knowing full well that sharing what truly excites his mind would either overwhelm or alienate others. But inside, his mind continues to burn, like a furnace desperately needing fuel. Unfortunately, most of the world offers only scraps, light commentary on trending topics, shallow opinions, and borrowed insights. None of it satisfies. This leaves the Sigma male in a state of quiet intellectual isolation. His curiosity is a force of nature, but the world around him often lacks the depth to match it. So he turns inward, reading voraciously, thinking deeply, analyzing silently. He may find rare satisfaction through books, podcasts, or the occasional kindred spirit who can meet him where he is mentally. But more often than not, he walks through life mentally starved, longing for conversations that make him feel alive, but settling for ones that make him feel alone. 2. Loyalty without the noise. For Sigma males, loyalty isn't something that needs to be announced, broadcasted, or romanticized. It's something lived in silence and demonstrated through quiet consistency. Unlike those who feel compelled to prove their devotion with constant messages, public affirmations, or dramatic gestures, Sigma males express loyalty in much subtler, yet more meaningful ways. Their allegiance is not loud or flashy. It's dependable, real, and often goes unnoticed by everyone except the person it's meant for. When a Sigma male is loyal to you, he protects your name even when you're not in the room. He defends your integrity when others question it. He'll act in your best interest without needing recognition or praise. He keeps your secrets safe, even when sharing them could earn him attention, sympathy, or leverage. His loyalty is practical. It's felt in the moments that matter, not in the social performances many people rely on for validation. However, that loyalty comes with high standards, and it is never blind. A Sigma's trust is not handed out freely, and once it's given, it becomes sacred. But if that trust is broken, the consequences are swift and final. There are no emotional breakdowns, no revenge plans, no pleas for closure. There is simply a quiet withdrawal, a subtle but permanent recalibration of how he sees you. The Sigma male doesn't yell or explain. He just moves on, almost invisibly. The door closes silently, but firmly. This is not a coldness or spite. In fact, Sigma males don't hold grudges. They consider grudges a waste of emotional energy. Instead, they accept what has happened, reevaluate what it reveals about your character, and adjust their boundaries accordingly. To them, betrayal is not a mistake. It's a revelation. And once someone's true nature is exposed, no amount of apologies or excuses can undo what's been seen. Words may be used to manipulate, to mask, to mend, but Sigma males look to behavior, patterns, and integrity over time. In the Sigma male's world, loyalty is a quiet, sacred code. It's not talked about, it's lived. And once that bond is broken, the silence that follows is more final than any argument could ever be. 3. The freedom to build without interruption. For Sigma males, few things are as sacred as uninterrupted focus. When they dive into deep work, be it writing, coding, designing, problem solving, or strategizing, their minds enter a state of heightened concentration known as hyperfocus. In this mode, the outer world fades away. Time ceases to exist. Physical needs like hunger or fatigue become irrelevant. The Sigma male becomes a mental architect, constructing intricate ideas with an almost meditative intensity. Every thought connects to the next with seamless logic, and the momentum of this flow is delicate. Once disrupted, it can take hours to rebuild. But modern society doesn't respect this mental state. In fact, it seems almost designed to destroy it. We're living in an era where being instantly reachable is not only normalized, but expected. Texts, emails, pop-up meetings, social notifications. Each one is a demand on our attention, and each interruption hits the Sigma male like a violent jolt out of REM sleep. It doesn't just distract, it derails. The carefully constructed train of thought crashes, and the cognitive momentum is lost. For a Sigma male, these interruptions are more than just annoying. They're mentally exhausting and emotionally frustrating. That's why he fiercely guards his time, setting up boundaries that may come off as cold or rigid to others. He disables notifications, avoids unnecessary calls, and declines meetings that don't serve a clear purpose. He understands something most people ignore. Extraordinary work requires extraordinary focus. And extraordinary focus can only thrive in solitude and silence. When others complain that he's unavailable or unresponsive, the Sigma male doesn't apologize. He knows that saying no to constant distractions is saying yes to the high-value output only deep work can produce. What looks like luck or genius to others is often just a product of fiercely protected, undisturbed concentration. To build without interruption is not a luxury for the Sigma. It's a necessity for being seen without having to explain themselves. Living as a Sigma male often feels like existing on trial. From childhood to adulthood, he is persistently misunderstood, prodded with questions that carry implicit judgment. Why are you so quiet? Are you angry? You'd be more likable if you open up more. These comments don't come from a place of curiosity. They come from discomfort with what doesn't fit the norm. Society tends to label differences as flaws, and introversion, stoicism, or independence are often seen as problems that need fixing. This constant need to explain, to justify, to defend who he is, it wears the Sigma down. It becomes a subtle but persistent erosion of self-confidence, not because he doubts himself, but because he's constantly made to feel like he should. The world's unwillingness to accept his natural state begins to feel like a burden he must carry in every room, in every conversation. That's why, when a Sigma male finally meets someone who sees him as he is, who recognizes that his quiet isn't coldness, that his solitude isn't loneliness, and that his depth isn't aloofness, it's profoundly liberating. This person doesn't demand energy from him. They respect his rhythm. They don't try to decode him. They simply accept him. And for the Sigma, that kind of acceptance feels like breathing after being underwater for too long. But this connection is fragile. If that same person who once offered unconditional acceptance eventually tries to change him, to coax him into being more social, more open, more like everyone else, the betrayal cuts deeper than any insult ever could. Because to the Sigma male, this relationship wasn't just rare, it was a sanctuary. And when that sanctuary is lost, it confirms the suspicion that true acceptance is perhaps the rarest experience of all. So he pulls away again, not out of anger, but out of necessity. Better to be alone in peace than to be misunderstood in company. 5. A conversation that feels like a chess match. For a Sigma male, shallow conversation isn't just boring, it's mentally draining. He can tolerate small talk when necessary, but he doesn't thrive in it. It feels like being stuck in first gear when he's capable of driving a Formula One car. Most people claim they enjoy deep conversations, but the moment the discussion ventures into abstract thinking, paradoxes, or uncomfortable truths, they often shut down, deflect, or retreat back to safe, surface-level banter. This sudden pullback is jarring for the Sigma. It's not that he wants to dominate the conversation. It's that he yearns to explore it, to probe deeper, to challenge ideas and be challenged in return. But every so often, the Sigma encounters someone different. Someone who doesn't blink when the subject takes a sharp intellectual turn. Someone who doesn't need things watered down or spoon-fed. When that happens, it's like the world suddenly shifts color. His posture changes. His eyes widen, his tone sharpens, his mind accelerates. Finally, he's speaking in his native intellectual language, not the simplified version he usually has to translate his thoughts into. This isn't just stimulating, it's euphoric. Neurochemically, what's happening is a dopamine rush triggered by meaningful engagement. His brain, especially the prefrontal cortex responsible for abstract thinking and problem solving, lights up in a reward cycle. The conversation becomes a game of mental chess, not to win, but to enjoy the brilliance of strategy, insight, and exchange. To an outsider, this might appear as if he's being argumentative or overly intense. But to the Sigma, this is joy, pure and rare. It's not confrontation, it's communion. A rare form of connection where two minds meet in a realm beyond surface-level society. And once he tastes that kind of mental compatibility, average conversations feel even more hollow. 6. Silence that feels like home. Silence is often treated like an uncomfortable pause that must be filled. Most people fear it, sensing awkwardness or social failure when there's a gap in conversation. That's why so many feel compelled to fill every moment with chatter, commenting on the weather, reciting trivial facts, or simply rambling to avoid the perceived tension of quiet. But to the Sigma male, silence is not empty, it's sacred. It's a retreat into clarity, a pause that holds potential, a space where the mind is free to breathe without being tugged by outside noise. When trapped in environments where he's forced to endure constant small talk or background noise, a Sigma feels smothered. It's like trying to meditate while someone beats a drum beside your head. He becomes tense, fatigued, and mentally scattered. Contrast that with how he feels in real silence. A quiet library, a morning walk alone, a peaceful cafe corner. In these moments, his nervous system resets. His shoulders drop, his breath slows. Ideas begin to form effortlessly in that mental stillness. The Sigma isn't escaping the world. He's engaging with it on a deeper level. He's reconnecting with his thoughts, reflecting, analyzing, and often solving internal dilemmas that others haven't even begun to notice in themselves. Even in relationships, the Sigma values a kind of silence that doesn't need explaining, the kind where two people can sit in stillness without discomfort. That's the ultimate sign of connection to him, when words aren't necessary and the energy between two people can just be. In a society that equates constant communication with connection, Sigma males quietly rebel by finding their deepest connections in moments of unspoken understanding. To them, silence isn't awkward, it's home. 7. The joy of solving complex problems alone. There's a distinct and deeply personal satisfaction that Sigma males derive from solitary problem solving, one that most people fail to understand. While the majority seek recognition, collaboration, and praise as the end goal of any challenge, the Sigma operates on a different wavelength. His fulfillment doesn't come from others noticing his efforts. It comes from the internal, often quiet joy of unraveling complexity, bringing order to chaos, and watching a tangled mess of ideas transform into a clear, functional solution. There is no need for applause. The only approval he seeks is his own. To the Sigma, solving a difficult problem is like sculpting. Each layer he removes reveals something more elegant underneath. The process of working through complications, whether it's in business, technology, strategy, or life itself, is not just a task. It's a form of meditation. He finds clarity in the crunch of data, the alignment of systems, and the final, satisfying click when everything falls into place. It's mastery, not for show, but for its own sake. And unlike others who thrive on group brainstorming, committee meetings, or collaborative sessions, the Sigma male often views such groupthink as a hindrance. He's not dismissive of others' ideas, but he's acutely aware of how much energy is drained by social dynamics, ego battles, and performative contributions. Group settings can distract from the problem itself. For a Sigma, the best work happens in solitude, where the mind is free to roam without interruption or the need to translate thoughts into digestible sound bites. His cognitive strength lies in convergent thinking, the ability to take diverse, seemingly unrelated pieces of information and synthesize them into a unified, elegant solution. It's a trait that thrives in silence and stillness, not noise and collaboration. When left alone, the Sigma can enter a flow state where time disappears, self-awareness fades, and only the task remains. It is here that he does his best work, not because he's antisocial, but because the mental clarity of solitude gives him room to operate at full capacity. To outsiders, this looks like isolation, an antisocial man retreating from the world. But from the Sigma's perspective, it's the opposite. It's freedom. It's where he communes with his own genius, refines his inner architecture, and builds the systems that make him formidable in the world. Final thoughts. The Sigma's silent strength. Sigma males are often misunderstood. People label them as distant, aloof, or emotionally flat. But this couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is, Sigmas are selective, not just with people, but with where they invest their energy. Their emotional depth isn't absent. It's hidden, reserved for rare experiences and even rarer people who earn their trust. Their desires aren't loud, they're profound. They don't crave attention. They crave substance. They don't seek constant noise. They seek meaning. And when they find that rare intersection of passion, purpose, and peace, whether it's in a deep conversation, a moment of true silence, or a problem so perfectly complex it demands their full mind, they light up from the inside out. That's when the true power of the Sigma male emerges, not in spectacle, but but in strength, not in noise, but in nuance, not in domination, but in disciplined mastery. Their lives are quiet on the outside, but storming with brilliance within. Do these ideas resonate with you? If you found yourself nodding along or reflecting deeply on the traits and experiences we explored in this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts. The Sigma male mindset isn't often talked about openly. In your perspective, whether you identify with it personally or have encountered in others, adds valuable depth to the conversation. Drop a comment below and let me know. Which part hit home the most for you? Have you seen these traits in yourself or someone you know? Your insights help build a community where authenticity and growth are prioritized over popularity and performance. If you're drawn to this kind of introspective, no-nonsense content around Sigma males, psychological strength, emotional intelligence, and high-value living, there's more waiting for you. Explore the other videos on this channel for deeper dives, actionable insights, and raw truths that cut through the noise. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay sharp, stay grounded, and stay unapologetically real. Until next time.